Rooster Mods, quality mods for quality farmers. Hey everybody, Rooster Mods here. Today, I wanted to do another mod preview. This is a mod preview for the John Deere 712 disc chisel. I have finished modding it. It's in testing with Giants right now. And I thought you guys might enjoy kind of getting an overview of what you can expect from it. So without further ado, let's go find it. You will find it in the store category under plows. Here it is. You can see our 712 mulch tiller right here. It's called the mulch tiller. That's the name John Deere gave it. We have a variety of options for this guy. We have options for warning equipment. So we have none. We have a triangle. We have the triangle on the back with the galvanized backing that I like to do. It's strapped to the frame just like in real life. We have stickers, this was mandatory in certain areas or certain states. It's pretty common nowadays too. We've got the orange stickers on the front, and we've got the red stickers on the back, and that's just for visibility and safety on the road. Or you can do both, of course. Why not? We also have weights that we can put on this guy. We can go none, or we can do 1,000 pounds. These are the classic John Deere suitcase weights. You can see we have 5 here, we have 5 here, and each of those is 100 pounds, or about 47 kilograms. So altogether, on the single frame version, you could put 1,000 pounds at most. I've also made some width options. So you can see right here, we have 9 shanks. That covers a 3.4 meter working width and has 130 horsepower required. We can also do 11 shanks. That brings us to a 4.2 meter working width with 160 horsepower required. And we can also do a 13 shank working width. That brings us to 4.9 meters, and that requires 190 horsepower. So we have options ranging from 3.4 meters to about 5 meters working width overall. So you got some variety for if you want to work more or less ground, if you have the horsepower available on your farm or not. Obviously, all of these were real options from John Deere at the time. You can see that the springs, we kind of change how they're sorted out when we go to the different working widths. And of course, I worked really hard to make this as realistic as possible. So all of these where you see the springs different changing positions on the front, those are where they would actually be installed in real life from the factory. So we've got rigid shanks here, so there's no spring or anything. These are offered by John Deere. They're just a standard shank that's bolted to the frame. And you can see that when we add extra shanks, we add extra extensions on the side. So, all right, that's what we can see in the store. Let's buy this guy. So here we can see it in game. There is a spring here that holds up the hose holder. We've got our jack stand here. That has a nice little animation. If you actually look really closely, you can see the threads at the top of the spring. It's probably really hard for you to see, and I should probably just change my field of view so you can see that. But if you look right there, you can actually see the threads on the bolt, and I think that's a really neat detail. You can see that on the top of the springs there, and you can see those bolt threads on the rigid shanks too. I think that's really neat. We've got the warning sticker there. I'm really happy with how that came out. Looks super realistic. We've got obviously a John Deere 712. I've been very careful to use the correct font and adjust the lettering manually in like Photoshop accordingly, so it all looks super nice. We've got the hoses here. I'll set this field of view back for you guys. Got the hoses. They actually have hose clamps along the tongue, and they come up here and then they go to the lift cylinders on the rock frame. You can also see the threads on the bolt here on our lovely little level linkage. All right, I think we've taken enough just kind of looking at this thing. Let's actually go see it in action. See this bit that's moving? These were called cylinder stops, or these are a sort of cylinder stop. And what they're used for is for when you're transporting the implement, when you're out of the field and on the road, you don't want these cylinders to accidentally fail or fall and launch the implement into the ground. So these cylinder lockups, you have to fold and unfold, and that uses your fold animation. So if you just press X or whatever you use on your console of choice, you have to fold and unfold those before you can raise and lower. So unfold that, lower it, and let's get working. One thing you might notice is that you can actually see the springs moving up and down here. And you might see that rod moving up and down, and you might wonder, hey, that's weird, that's a glitch in your animation, but no, it's not. The rods are actually supposed to ride up and down in the holder like that, if you see that. The spring is compressing, but the rods were solid. They just rode up and down in a notch inside the spring holders, so they're behaving the way they're supposed to. I really like that animation. I think it's kind of neat, because those springs were essentially there to just kind of keep the coulters in the ground and let them ride the ground. They're animated correctly, so I really enjoy that. I think that's a nice little detail. We'll raise and we'll turn around here. You can also see we've got some nice soil animations here. Looks pretty good. And one thing you'll also notice, if I just kind of stop the tractor here, the most important part, one of my favorite features, is that you can see, like, when you look here, you can see the ground and the stalks as they should appear. When you look here, it looks different. And that's because we're actually mulching the ground while we're going along. And then, after these coulters have mulched the ground and chopped up the residue like they did in real life, we can plow with our shanks. So this is a multi-function tool. It allows us to mulch and plow at the same time. If we go to the map, we can go to our soil composition here, and you can see that this area is actually mulched. So, and you can see, obviously it does not need plowing anymore because we have worked it with the 712. So, yeah, that's pretty nice. If you look over here, you can also look at the hitch. If you watch that hitch closely, you can see that it actually rotates up and down as I raise and lower the implement. I correctly animated the rock bar to do what it does in real life, which is level the implement as it kind of raises and lowers into the ground. So as this rock shaft here, as this piece that holds the wheels gets lifted and lowered, it pushes on that bar down there. And that bar has a couple linkages that allow it to pull the tongue up and down. So that's another really nice detail. That's obviously important, and I don't want to leave any of that kind of stuff out. So there we go. That's our 9-shank option. If we come over here to our 7700, we'll be able to check out our 11-shank option, which needs 160 horsepower. The 7700 has more than that, so we'll be fine there. You can see it, if you look very carefully, you can see the stalks disappearing as we mulch the ground, so that's super handy. Got these animations, and I've got the weights on this guy, so you can see what that looks like. You'll notice it's a little bit heavier if you add the weights as an option. That's because I actually coded it so that it adds weight to the implement when you add those weights. So trying to make things very dynamic, very realistic. And you can also notice our working speed, I should say, is 7 miles an hour. That was the maximum recommended working speed by the manufacturer. So, you know, I'm all about keeping things realistic, so that's where we've got it. Yeah, that looks great. So we mulch, we till, and then when we're ready to go back on the road, we fold up our cylinder stops there. You can hear a clinking noise as you put them up. And then we're on our way, and we can't accidentally lower it into the ground while we're on the road. We've also got the orange and red stickers on this guy, which I think look really nice. Let's go check out our biggest version. This is our 13-shank, 190 horsepower. I'll show you something else here. Obviously, we've got a cornfield here, and we got a 4850, which has just enough horsepower to pull it. This guy was made from, I think, 1984 to 1988, 1983 to 1988, about that time frame. So this was right in line with the 50 series made by John Deere too. It's working super great. You can really clearly see in corn those stalks going away as it kind of mulches the ground. That's super nice. You can see we raise it, and then we got a really nice jack stand animation too. If you look down there, you can see that we actually pull the pin out of that jack stand holder, and then we spin it, and then we turn it around, and then we fold it up. So it's got some nice sounds, some nice animations. I think it's super awesome. I really like adding details like that. So obviously on this guy we've got the works, we've got all 13 shanks, we've got the weights, we've got the triangle, we've got the stickers, and yeah, we're rocking it. We're doing 80s style tillage. So, well, I really do think that's about it for this 712 mulch tiller preview. Thanks for checking it out, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you're excited for this. This is currently in testing with Giants as of the release of this video. So keep an eye out on the testing list and on the releases in the future. There may be something to fix, but overall, I think this is looking pretty decent. Yeah, so thanks for checking out the video, everyone. This is Rooster Mods, signing off. If you want to support the creation of future mods, or get access to exclusive content, head on over to patreon.com/roostermods to learn more.